Florida road trip! Whoop whoop! Florida! Still in South Carolina. But if you go down there, Florida!
No, we're going towards the coast. We have to go right.
We go down there and then right, Florida! Whoop whoop! What's up everybody? We are Deanna and Phil. Deanna's from the United States and I'm from Germany, and in this video we're talking about this German guy's first time in the state of Florida.
Florida.
So as a German, Florida is one of the best known states, and I finally got to go to the magical state of Florida, man.
Our Florida trip did not go as planned. We visited Florida for a little over a week. We drove from South Carolina to Ocala, Florida to visit my aunt who recently moved there from the northeast of the US. Ocala is a small city north of Orlando and south of Gainesville.
Yeah, so Ocala was an interesting city. We found a Scientology church center, very random, but we also saw some weird animals. What's happening?
They're coming right there.
The turkeys are crossing.
Oh God, one more.
It's Florida. Velociraptors. They're just jumping over the thing.
They're coming towards us.
Why are you attacking us?
Look at it, it's like a dog. He's wagging his tail.
Maybe they're used to being fed. They just look mean. Are you mean? Dinosaurs. He's walking away. Whoa! I hear fucking leaf blowing behind me and I think something's running for us.
Dude, how freaking cute. Look at him. Do you see him with his leg up? Oh, they're sunbathing.
We even saw a family on a boat with what looked like a lawnmower engine.
Yeah.
So a couple of great first impressions for Florida, but funny stuff aside, I really love the nature and the amount of green in the whole area.
After a few days staying with my aunt, we drove to Tampa, and unfortunately, as soon as we got there, the car just stopped.
Yeah.
It wouldn't start at all. All right, we made it to Tampa. It's great. Car doesn't start. I think it's the alternator since the battery's new. It's a pretty old car, so we're stranded. We had to walk from our hotel down this busy street to the Dollar General, which is the only place open, to get some water.
Yeah, it's a little bit sketchy walking. I feel like the only people out are homeless people on the streets.
Yeah, there are a lot of homeless people.
Nobody walks in the US.
Yeah, we feel weird for walking. You must see the sunset. That's nice. Nice colors. What? An expired elephant. That is reassuring.
This is the view from our hotel room, and Deanna says this is the typical Florida living. Just the moats are missing. Sometimes you have water moats in between.
One of the positive things about having an old manual car is we ended up push starting the car to a shop. Phil did most of the pushing.
However, the car troubles didn't stop us from seeing the city of Tampa. And while the car was at the shop, we checked out downtown Tampa and Ybor city. I was pretty surprised how empty Tampa's downtown area was. Pretty calm for such a big city, but they had a nice boardwalk along the river. And Ybor city, on the other hand, felt a bit more street-like. I don't know how to explain it. It's like more culture and a wild mix of people. I like that there was this tram that was completely free to use, and we used that to get around the city.
Yeah.
So that was cool, and finding public transportation like that in the US really felt like luxury. I loved it. Yeah, but overall I can't just shake my maybe European high expectations for big cities like Tampa, and while nothing was too bad, there was also nothing that really excited me about the city.
We walked a lot that first day. I really loved the river walk in the downtown area. There were a lot of restaurants.
The German beer garden. They're making their way everywhere in the US.
It seemed like a really nice and well-kept space.
Yeah.
We stopped by a Mexican restaurant for some delicious food, and then stopped by a 7-Eleven for some not-so-yummy food. I'm gonna try it. I hope I don't die. We'll see. I don't think I've ever had a 7-Eleven burrito. All right, here it is. Hot.
Hi, is it amazing?
I give it a 2 out of 10.
Got the car back!
It's here and it's working. Fingers crossed.
Took exactly one day. We dropped it off in the morning, picked it up this morning early. So we're going to St. Petersburg now. We're driving, fingers crossed it's gonna hold up. So St. Petersburg downtown felt initially a bit more inviting to me than Tampa. However, the reason for that might have been the more touristy beachfront layout that this city had. I liked walking down the pretty huge pier, but overall that area isn't that big and we didn't have much time to explore the rest of the city. Then the drive to Clearwater felt still surprisingly long, and the weather gods were not with us on that one. It started raining and it was actually pretty cold when we got out in Clearwater.
Yeah.
And this initial street at Clearwater, like the strip or whatever, was kind of a big turnoff for me. It was very busy, full of visitors that arrived by car. Therefore, there was a lot of traffic and not enough parking. Just not a good, chill beach vibe. But then we stepped on the beach and the beach itself was amazing. I can see why it has gotten this over touristy. Okay, so we're walking up to Clearwater Beach right now. Unfortunately, the weather gods are not with us today, but
people are still out here.
The beach looks awesome. It's very white sand. It's fairly wide, the beach itself, and it looks super clean, so nice beach, just bad weather right now. We got a lot of these beachy little shops with shirts and restaurants, and a lot of hotels in Clearwater too, though, on the beachfront. Yeah, it's a nicer beach, definitely. So plenty of space for sunbathing, skimboarding or swimmers. But as I said, it was pretty stormy at the time and the ocean looked fairly rough when we were there. So for me, kind of mixed feelings after that whole round trip that day. Okay, I think we're leaving Clearwater already. Get an idea for it, very touristy. The beach is awesome, but there's not much to do for us right now.
I'm hungry.
And after that, we left the Tampa Bay area still without having seen any alligators.
Gators. Where are the gators?
We're on our way from Tampa to Orlando. This is the weather we're getting. Thought about going to Disney Springs. That's apparently this free area which is close to the parks, and it's just shops and restaurants and stuff. Yeah, we just removed our stop because it's pouring. Why is it pouring?
No say.
Why? You look smart, so why? So we wanted to check out Orlando and the surrounding areas as potential places to live in. Not really the Disney World or Universal sections, but the living areas. So the first night we arrived and we visited Lake Eola downtown. Alright, we just made it into the city. Lake Eola.
Orlando.
First impression of Orlando, what do you think?
I think it's not too shabby. I've only ever been to like Disney World in the parks, so this is I think my first time in the downtown area.
And I think there's a lot of foods, a lot of restaurants down here. So the first impression for me is actually fairly positive.
It's very clean so far. It
was a very beautiful scenic walk with my lovely wife until she barfed all over the sidewalk.
Yeah, okay, so I'm pretty sure I got food poisoning from something we ate the day before in Tampa.
I'm pretty sure too.
I felt so weird that whole day, and then suddenly it was just too much. Anyways, sparing you the TMI, I was just not feeling well that night, although the next day was a bit better. I was able to drive us to different areas of Orlando so Phil could get a feel for it.
Yeah.
I did most of the sitting while he checked out the areas. We're in Orlando and we came back to the spot where Phil puked yesterday. He got so sick, he puked right there. It was not me, as he reenacts his puking because he had food poisoning.
To my surprise, I liked Orlando immediately better than Tampa. It seemed as if there was a bit more international culture, way more food options and restaurants, and all the lakes in the city premises were kind of nice as well. And it's funny because all of the Americans I asked before pretty much wrote off Orlando quickly, but most of them just visited the parks and did not experience the city itself. So I'm curious, have you been to Orlando and have you visited anything aside from the parks? Let us know your experience below.
The area of Orlando where we were staying had a huge Asian community. There were a lot of Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese restaurants and supermarkets. I honestly wanted to eat all of it, but
and you did.
No, although my stomach wasn't really ready, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah. We decided not to visit Miami this time around because we had limited time
and limited resources.
And Miami was not in the run for a potential city to live in for us. Main reason for that being the higher costs of living. Although I would like to drive down the Keys at some point and in general visit Florida's East Coast as well in the future.
Yeah. After Orlando, we headed back north to South Carolina. It's a weird sentence. We stopped by St. Augustine for half of the day. I've been to this area a handful of times and I wanted Phil to see the city that claims to be the oldest one in the United States of America. All right, so we are on our way from Orlando to St. Augustine, and we've had such a weird Florida trip so far, and we're gonna just do a day trip there. We figured if we're already driving past it on our way up to Jacksonville, we should at least see the city.
And some Caribbean food.
Yes.
I quite enjoyed St. Augustine. The main walking street kind of reminded me of an old western town, you know, like the ones I've seen on TV as a kid.
Really?
Yeah,
That's weird. Bit. It has a lot of Spanish influence though.
It was very nice, but also the fort on the water was pretty cool, and we actually saw wild dolphins just jumping around in the water right in front of this fort.
So we're trying to film some dolphins here. There are actually dolphins in the water. Very special nature thing, and then get a boat full of drunk women. That's America.
So to me, St. Augustine was one of the most beautiful towns I've seen in the US.
So this thing behind us was a former hotel. I don't know what it is now. It says Flagler College. I think it's freaking beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful exteriors I've ever seen. We have another one just across the street, built by Mr. Flagler. We got the amazing one over there, and we have that one, and I wouldn't be surprised if Casa Monica was from Mr. Flagler as well.
My only issue is that it feels more like a weekend attraction than a town where people actually live. Just masses of tourists are just passing through like a herd of zombies. It felt like that a bit. So it actually reminded me a little bit of Disney Springs.
People are gonna love that.
But yeah, after St. Augustine, we went back up north, leaving Florida behind. And a lot went wrong during that trip with the car issues, with the wife barfing all over the place.
Should have barfed on you.
Also, the weather was ups and downs, but it was pretty different in some regards to what I expected. But we'll make a whole nother video going into more details of what my expectations versus reality of my first impressions really were. And I had to leave without seeing an alligator. Can you believe that?
Yes, I can.
Although I saw plenty of them just a couple days later, just not in Florida.
So that was our strange Florida trip of 2021. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts on Florida are and what we should do next time we go to Florida. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. A big thank you to everyone who watches our videos and supports us, and a special thank you to our patrons for supporting us and helping us to make videos like these. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye!